standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Affiliated to this paper, I need freedom for my family line. Draw my life designer like fine art. I'm jumping out just the unfamiliar coordinates. Top one trillion, the ism talk the water out your faucet. Look at me flossing, I'm so wavy I could change the tide. My intuition sense the hatred in your ways. You imitated, forging lines, claim meaning means that's just to justify. Yeah, right. West side, born maritime. Creole baby, my bloodline. My lungs clouded, my thoughts crowded. Say all I see is these dollar signs. Finna make a play and that sound delay. On mamas, I testify. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Game recognized game. I'm from the Bay, okay, I'm versatile and my slang was different. I'm lane switching with the same people that I came up in this thing with. My head swivel, I'm homebound, got a target back on my backside. The cat peeling with the cast iron, better run for it, run before I catch you. Pick it out, ball it, block it. Trying to stop my blessing. Gamble with your life. Don't bet it, don't bet it. They can't stop my blessing. You do best not to test it. Yeah, you right. Real all in my blood supply. To get ball up top finna make a play. I cast a lob like I'm Jalen, baby. No cosign and no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission, it's a dollar sign. If I say it twice and I meant it right.
My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission, it's a dollar sign. You know, cosign and no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission, it's a dollar sign.
Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right, so shout out to everyone who is in the building early. It's good to see each and every one of you. If you can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you cannot hear me or see me, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody who is in the building early, all right? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. What's good with the Brooklyn Queen? Make sure y'all show Brooklyn Queen some love. Throw some like enforcers in the chat for Brooklyn Queen enforcing them likes. Shout out to my man Carlton Way, the CEO of Strange Investments. What's good with it? Stranger. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man AB Promotions, a.k.a. Fomosaki. What's good with it, bro? And shout out to my man John Guillory. What is good? Good to see each and every one of you. All right. Shout out to John. John says that sticker has the face of people when they found out they are priced out of the market and we are all up $1 million. Bro, facts. Facts. We got a lot to talk about. It's a lot going on in the market. Now, I want to just throw this out here and see how you guys feel about it. Where the market is right now, I don't believe that we're in a bull run. I don't believe it's altcoin season. I don't believe any of that. What I believe is that this is what's called a quote-unquote upward economic correction. And when I say it's an upward economic correction, what I mean by that is that we haven't really had the intense tariff news. Things have been a little bit more calm on the geopolitical front. And as a result, what I believe is happening is that there's a higher level consolidation in the market, and the market is being repriced appropriately for where things should have been up until now. Now what's being priced in is all of the corporate buying. So what I believe is happening is that the prices are catching up to where they should have been, and everything is still, for the most part, underpriced. Even though they're saying that Ethereum is overbought, I don't think that it is. I don't think that it is. All right, but that's just how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you guys think. Shout out to John. John says true. Yeah, that's kind of what I think. I believe that once we might go up another 5 or 10%, and after that 5 or 10%, there'll probably be a downward consolidation, and then after that, that's when the rocketing will take off. I don't think this is the quote unquote rocketing. I think this is where prices should have been all along. Right now, where we are is where prices should have been 3 months ago. Okay, in my opinion. It's my opinion. Because I don't think that there's been anything significant that has occurred other than some of the crypto legislation, which that crypto legislation, for the most part, are stablecoin frameworks. I don't think that anything has occurred that justified sudden upward price movement. So I don't think that this is sudden upward price movement. I think that this is where prices should have been. And now what needs to happen is prices need to stay here for maybe about a month or two. And once the prices stay here for about a month or two, pull back maybe 10 to 15%. After we get that 10 to 15% pullback, then I think that's when the true altcoin season will begin and the true bull market will start. Just from my analysis, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton says ZBEC is at meme coin prices and retail is doing the balancing challenge. Yeah, facts. You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't think it's a bad idea right now to round the millions on ZBEC. That's like 10 years into the future. So you just get those and then hold on to them, buy more as you can. And I don't think pump.fun is a bad idea to, you know, get a couple 100,000, maybe $1 million of those either. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. All right. Shout out to Katsy. Katsy said Ozzy died. Yeah, I heard about that. It's crazy, man. Like, you know what they say. So this is 2, right? They say that death's always coming 3. So we'll see who the next one is. Right? We'll see who the next one is. So I want to show you guys this screenshot and ask you guys what you guys think about it. This was in my famous email. All right. This was in my famous email, and it says BlackRock now owns 3% of all Bitcoin. How do people feel about that? Dear reader, BlackRock may have just triggered the largest Bitcoin buying spree in history. They've quietly accumulated over 3% of all Bitcoin in existence. Okay. In response, Wall Street has poured over $400 billion into crypto ETFs. Okay. So let me ask you guys this. If those numbers are correct, where is the market going? If those numbers are correct, where do you guys think the market is going? Now, you know, you got to ask, why are people not buying? Right? You got to ask why people are not buying. All right. So, in tradition, shout out to Carlton. We talked about this in the Discord. We're going to look at this. We're going to look at this Bible verse real quick, right? This is it right here. This I believe that this is interesting. All right. Genesis 13 verses 14 through 17. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. How does this translate to today? Shout out to Lehman Lucas. What does this look like today? All right. Carl just said, uh-oh, Richard. Uh-oh, Richard. And shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media. The Lord said to Abraham after Lot had parted from him, look around from where you are, to the north and south, to the east and the west. All the land that you see, I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted. Go walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you. Okay? Now, thoughts. Thoughts. Keep thinking, right? We're going to take a look at this real quick. We're going to talk about Grok4. All right? How many people are familiar with Grok4? Bitcoin volatility heats up as heavyweights warn, buy, and predict. How many people heard about the Trump versus Elon Musk situation involving crypto? Pretty interesting, right? From Robert Kiyosaki's crash warning to Trump out Bitcoining Musk and AI predicting $2 million Bitcoin. The crypto world is pulsing with tension, bold bets, and shifting tides. Now, here's my question for everybody. How many people believe that when it comes to these financial markets, we should keep track. We should keep a record and pay close attention to how accurate AI predictions are and which AI comes with the most accurate predictions. Shout out to OG Patrice. What's good with it? Now, when is the time frame for this $2 million Bitcoin? That's my question. What's the time frame for it? Somebody let me know. We'll get there eventually. So Robert Kiyosaki continues to warn that there's the biggest economic crash in history coming. Save Bitcoin. All right. Trump flexed on Elon Musk. Apparently, Trump owns more Bitcoin than Elon Musk. How much Bitcoin you hold is becoming the new flex. Shout out to Carlton. Is that a strange flex? So let me ask you guys this. If the new flex is how much Bitcoin you own, and you have an entire group of people who are against owning Bitcoin, will the strange flex be, I got no Bitcoin? That's my question. Let me know about the strange flex. Where's the strange flex going? Long-term holders may trigger a 12% Bitcoin drop, which that's interesting. That's kind of consistent with the numbers that we were talking about earlier, right? Grok4 AI predicts $2.7 million Bitcoin by 2035. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. Do you have the amount of Bitcoin that you want to have if Bitcoin increases to $2.7 million by 2035? I don't think anybody will be, hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully nobody will be going anywhere by 2035. We'll all still be here, right? Hopefully everybody will still be accumulating. Here's my question. Where will we be in 2035? That's my question. Let me know the answer. Ethereum rejected $4,000 to $5,000, and they're saying that the rally is paused. I don't necessarily agree with that, because I don't necessarily agree that there was a rally. I believe now what happened is that Ethereum is back to where it should have been, because Ethereum has been at the price that it's at for a long time. What's going to happen is there's probably going to be a little bit of a pullback, and then Ethereum is going to be able to take off, in my opinion. That's what's going to happen. We'll see. Okay. Biggest crash in history coming. Save Bitcoin. All right. Now, here's my question. How do you want to prepare for this alleged crash that's coming? All right. How do people want to prepare for this crash that's coming? What's the best way to do that? Let me know some ways to prepare for the crash in the chat. Robert Kiyosaki warns of an epic economic collapse and says Bitcoin is your best defense. Okay. Bitcoin is your best defense. Savers are losers. What does the Fed do when they F you? 1987 market crash, they printed money. 1998 LTCM collapse, printed more money. 2019 repo market seizure, print C19 pandemic, print money. Silicon Valley Bank crash, they printed more money. It's not a new crisis. And then, he just goes on to continue the pattern of what the Fed does. When there's an economic issue in the United States, what happens when there's an economic issue in the United States? They print more money. Shout out to Lehman Lucas. Lehman Lucas says, no, gotta have it all like Pokemon. Bro, facts. Shout out to AB Promotions. Bullets, facts. Like Uncle Murder. Bullet, right? They don't know about the bullet days. He threw up. Fed printing fake dollars. Kiyosaki blames inflation and crisis cycles on relentless money printing. And again, it's interesting, right? The inauthenticity of the current financial system is what validates the authenticity of the Bitcoin financial system. This right here is one of the fundamental reasons why Bitcoin has no top. Because if an infinite amount of printed money, an infinite amount of printed value is priced against Bitcoin, and Bitcoin only has 21 million Bitcoin, there's no cap on the valuation of each of those Bitcoin. The cap only comes when the money printing stops. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton says maybe they can print money without a crisis occurring. Right. Now, here's the interesting thing. When it comes to all of these crises, here's the question. Why is it that the companies who already have all the money always get bailed out while everybody else goes bankrupt? How does that work? And why haven't people seen that pattern yet? Now, here's the thing that's fascinating. There's the money printing bailout that occurs, but people continuing to use these institutions, they also bail these institutions out by continuing to funnel their money into them, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Buy Bitcoin, not fiat. He urged investors to escape the US dollar by holding real assets like Bitcoin, gold, and silver. Debt time bomb. America is the biggest debtor nation in history because of the Fed. Okay. So, yeah, there's that. Okay. So we're going to go past. Maybe people might be interested in this. I don't know. So they're talking about this $1.3 trillion opportunity. Let's see what they're talking about. A new trend in real estate is making the most expensive properties obtainable. It's called co-ownership, and it's revolutionizing the $1.3 trillion home market. The company leading the trend, Picasso, created by the founder behind a $120 million prior exit, Picasso turns underutilized luxury properties into fully managed assets and makes them accessible to the broader possible market. The result, more than $1 billion in transactions and services fees, 2,000 plus happy homeowners, and over $100 million in gross profits for Picasso. With rapid international growth and 41% gross profits last year, Picasso is hitting their stride. Even though they recently reserved the NASDAQ ticker PCSO. Invest in Picasso as a private company and join notable investors like Mavron and Graycroft for just $2.90 a share. Okay, so I don't know if anybody's interested in this. If you are interested in this, I'll put the link in the chat. All right, PACAS. Oh, shout out to DJ Elmo. What's good with you, bro? All right, I'm gonna put the link to this in the chat. This link is kind of big. Hopefully it'll fit. You know what? I'm not gonna put the link in the chat. I don't think it's gonna fit. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in the Discord real quick. All right. And shout out to everybody while I'm doing that. If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit that bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media. All right. So hold on real quick. I hate when they do this. Hold on. All right. Let me see. I don't know why. Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. All right, my bad, y'all. I'm about to pull this back up. Let me see. Get this out of here. All right, we back. We back. My bad. All right, let's go back. So we got that. All right, now we're going to look at this. Trump flexes. He owns more Bitcoin than Elon Musk. Trump just won up to Musk via Bitcoin holdings. Okay. Trump Media holds $2 billion in Bitcoin. The company behind Truth Social now beats Tesla's $1.35 billion crypto stash. So again, it's just interesting. Strategic or symbolic? Trump's MAGA empire is leaning deeper into digital gold while Tesla eases off. Trump Media also allocated $300 million to Bitcoin-linked options, signaling long-term intent. Okay. Trump didn't need a tweet, just Bitcoin to steal the spotlight. Long-term holders may trigger a 12% Bitcoin drop. Now, here's my question. Shout out to the people in the comment section. How many long-term Bitcoin holders do we have in the comment section? If you're a long-term Bitcoin holder, throw the rocket in the comment section. Okay. Profit taking and whale movements point to a potential pullback. SOPR flashes red. Long-term holders are selling at near 2x profits, often a top signal. Whales are moving coins, a rising whale to exchange ratio, hints at looming distribution. Key level, 116,000. Losing this support may send Bitcoin towards 103,000. You know what's interesting? Let me ask you guys this question. Since Bitcoin has passed 100,000 and has, for the most part, stayed at 100,000, has anybody really like? Do you really notice these changes? Like, do you really pay attention? Do you really care if Bitcoin goes to like 115,000 or if it goes to 110,000, or are you still just kind of just amazed that it's over $100,000? Let me know. See, me honestly, now that Bitcoin is over $100,000, I don't look at anything as a loss. Like, nothing really sparks my attention unless Bitcoin goes back into the 5 digits. What do you guys think? That's kind of where I'm at. Okay. Yearly surge forecast. Grok4 predicts $158,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2025, rising annually to $2.7 million in 2035. Okay. So if you have a tenth of a Bitcoin, for the most part, that's $270,000. Right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Yeah, shout out to Carlton. Bitcoin is currently over 120,000 and climbing. Yeah. So and again, what we noticed, the new thing with Bitcoin is that Bitcoin tends to trade sideways for periods of time at its all-time high at about between 80 to 95% of the all-time high, and then there's usually a spike. It's doing real well, right? Critics doubt the climb. Skeptics argue Bitcoin rarely posts gains every single year. Now, again, right? Like, so here's the thing. Who said that it had to post gains every year? There could be a 40% drawback and then an 80% surge. Like, no one said that it had to just continuously appreciate at a particular rate over, the next 10 years, right? Speculation or signal. AI models offer a bold, long view, but history shows Bitcoin moves in cycles, and I wouldn't disagree. And again, cycles still occur over a period of time. So AI is technically not incorrect. Shout out to AB Promotions. Yeah, I agree. AB Promotion says it seems normal now for Bitcoin to be $118,000. I wouldn't disagree. How many people bought the top? If you bought the top, put the top emoji in the chat. I bought the top. You know what I'm saying? I bought the top. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen said, keep climbing. Liquid staking will be lovely. Facts. Super facts. Hey, throw some top emojis in the chat for Carlton. Carlton said, I bought some top at 116,000 the other day. Man, you ain't buy the top unless you bought over 120, bro. You did. That's not real top. You bought some discount top. You bought the Dollar General top, bro. You know what I'm saying? So they're saying that Ethereum rejected $4,000 and $5,000 rally paused. Numerically, you can't disagree with this because this is facts. You know what I'm saying? Ethereum clearly in the charts was rejected at 4,000. But again, I don't believe what we're seeing is a true rally. What I believe that we're seeing is the price normalization after a period of economic stability, and I believe that the rally is still to come. So we'll see if that's true or not. The fundamentals agree with this statement, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree with this statement. I just think that it's kind of being the analysis of the numbers and the trend is a little bit inaccurate, in my opinion. Ethereum rally stalls just before $4,000 as signs of exhaustion appear. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. How many people have seen signs of exhaustion? Hey, shout out to Brooklyn Queen. I'm not mad at that. Automatic top. Top down. You know what I'm saying? I can't get mad at that. You got the push button. RSI signals overbought. Technicals suggest buyers may be tapped out. Okay. Volume drops off. Fading interest at the top could lead to a pullback towards $3,000. $3,000 to $3,200. If bulls don't defend it, deeper correction is possible. And we know that these deep corrections are always possible if buying doesn't continue. And we know that buying doesn't happen forever. It will happen forever, but it happens forever, you know, in phases. So this pullback is something that's very possible. And, you know, when the pullback comes, you know what to do. What do you do when the pullback comes? Now, I don't have any type of drop to compensate for this. So I guess we're just gonna have to substitute, right? Bitcoin wrench attacks are at an all-time high. All right.
Pick up the hammer. Pick up the hammer. Stop. Hammer time.
Stop wrench time. All right. People getting wrenched out here. All right. Bitcoin wrench attacks are on track to double to its worst year. There have already been 35 reported physical attacks on Bitcoiners in just the first 7 months of 2025. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said the Lith would try to come for our Bitcoin. Now, mind you, let me ask you guys this question. Why would the Lith try to come for our Bitcoin? The Lith don't want anything to do with Bitcoin. Right? The Lith don't want anything to do with Bitcoin. But the Lith retail is out here attacking folks with wrenches. Bitcoin wrench attacks, a violent form of cryptocurrency theft, could see its worst year in 2025, with criminals spurred on by Bitcoin's soaring market value, according to Chainalysis. Wrench attacks refer to a situation where physical force or intimidation is used to force a victim to give up their crypto holdings, and Chainalysis said that with 35 attacks already recorded as of July, the numbers are on track to have potentially twice as many physical attacks as the next highest year on record. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Why is this happening? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said the Lyft on YouTube said that they will be running down on us. Hey, yo, YouTube Lyft. Don't become a victim of this.
Pick up the hammer. Pick up the hammer. Stop. Hammer time.
Okay? Don't let it happen to you. You try to get my crypto. You catch me at a stoplight. Your girl in the car with you, she gonna be like, pick up
the hammer. Pick up the hammer. Stop. Hammer time.
Give me your crypto. You talking to me? Uh-oh. Here come my hammer. Uh-oh. Here come my hammer. Yeah. Didn't you might mess around and be like Uncle Murder. Bullet. All right, I'm just saying, just warning, it's going to be a bullet market, not a bull market. The last bull market peak in 2021 was the worst year on record, with a total of 36 recorded attacks against crypto holders, according to a list compiled by Jameson Lopp, a cypherpunk and co-founder of custodial firm Casa on GitHub. Speaking to Cointelegraph, Chainalysis spokesperson said there is clear evidence of marked increase in violent crimes associated with crypto holdings, especially kidnappings, ransom demands, home invasions, extortion targeting private holders of digital assets since 2023. So check this out. Since people want to try to run down on cryptocurrency holders, I got an idea for a business. We should start a cryptocurrency security firm, and to any of these clowns that want to run down on people with crypto, when they run down on people with crypto, all they got to do is hit a button on the app. We'll come through and we'll extract all the cash and all of the chains and all of the jewelry that they have on at the current moment. We'll take a fee from that, right? And then we'll give it back to the crypto holder and we'll reinvest the fee. So for the most part, any attempted robbery on a cryptocurrency holder will be more Bitcoin that they're buying us. We're going to go chain shopping, right? We're going to go chain shopping at these robberies. If y'all think that that's a good idea, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't, give me a thumbs down. Yeah. Shout out to AB Promotions. They don't want no problems with the hammer. You saw what happened on Crimecast when they did that flash mob and tried to go into that jewelry store. What happened? Uh-oh. They went to hammer, and then they start scattering like ants.
Pick up the hammer. Pick up the hammer. Stop. Hammer time.
Man, shout out to AB Promotions. Right. They're going to call us Pillsbury the way we drop biscuits, man. I'm just saying. We could do that. We could do that. Let me know. We could do a statewide network. So they blaming the crypto price spikes. This is the same as blaming gun manufacturers for gun violence. Shame on Bitcoin. It's the devil. It's the mark of the beast. Shame on Bitcoin for going to $120,000. Bitcoin at $120,000 just sets off some type of mechanism in people's minds that says, we got to rob you. Okay, bet. Now, you know, we always got to ask the question. Who's making people do this? Who's making people do this? How come nobody ever comes over here and say we're going to catch all y'all blacklight, all y'all people in the blacklight comment section, we're going to catch y'all and get y'all crypto? Why don't anybody ever come over and say that? If I ever go to California, you think I'm about to send anybody any Bitcoin? You think I'm about to check in? You think that's about to happen? About to be like that 50 Cent thumbnail. Oh, check this. Hey, cuz, you got to check in. Nah, bro, check this.
Pick up the hammer. Pick up the hammer. Stop. Hammer time.
Respect to the Bay. Right? Respect to the Bay. Check this. You know what I'm saying? Chainalysis blames part of the increased frequency of attacks on the rising price of Bitcoin, triggering an additional opportunistic physical attack known to crypto holders. Bitcoin has clocked multiple new all-time highs in 2025 with a current top of over $122,000, which it hit on Monday, according to Nansen data. Chainalysis told Cointelegraph there are several more factors contributing to this trend. When the perceived anonymity and liquidity of crypto, increased public visibility of wealth, and the growing involvement of traditional organized crime networks, underlying these is the rapid appreciation in price associated with assets such as Bitcoin, the spokesperson said. All right. Chainalysis CEO Jonathan Levin speculated during the 2025 Consensus Crypto Conference in May, which Cointelegraph covered, that criminal organizations may be kidnapping crypto holders, assuming that crypto isn't traceable. All right. Law enforcement might curb attacks. As with any crime, it is tough to predict its future trends. However, given that there is a correlation between the rise in violent crimes and rising Bitcoin prices, it could be assumed that violent crimes would likely persist in a bull market, said the Chainalysis spokesperson. So it looks like 13% of the Bitcoin holders represent 55% of the crimes against Bitcoin holders. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, if it gets really bad, the government may have to put us in private community of crypto holders. Yeah, listen, I would tell crypto holders to put themselves into private communities, right? We need to make a cryptocurrency compound and buy an army tank with Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Because if the government puts you in a community of private cryptocurrency holders, the government's going to say, not only do we need to secure you, we need to quote unquote secure your cryptocurrency. So you're going to have to store your cryptocurrency on government sanctioned hard wallets. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How many people would be cool with storing their cryptocurrency in government sanctioned hard wallets? If you would, give me a thumbs up. If you would not, then give me a thumbs down. However, a few factors could help to deter thieves, such as the widespread availability of structured market products, such as Bitcoin exchange-traded funds and exchange-traded products, which allow people to invest in crypto without holding the underlying asset themselves, they said. Let me ask you guys this question. How come people don't try to go after BlackRock? Why do you guys think the tough guys don't go after BlackRock? The transparency of blockchain technology also means that funds stolen in crypto are traceable, and in the case of stable coins, freezable. Continued law enforcement activity might also act as a deterrent and break the current trend we observe in the data, they said. Okay. The true number of victims is unknown. Lopp's list is an account of wrench attacks dating back to 2014, when someone allegedly tried to extort computer scientist and cryptographer Hal Finney. The Chainalysis spokesperson said that while these cases remain comparatively rare compared to hacks and other digital thefts, there is no concrete way to know for sure how many attacks happen each year. People might simply not report the incident either out of fear of retribution or a sense of hopelessness, which the evidence suggests can be misplaced, they said. All right. So again, since this is on the rise, another business that we could come up with, we could become the first physical cryptocurrency protection chain. We could become the first cryptocurrency physical protection chain. Crypto goons, right? We could be some crypto goons. Oh, you trying to rob people that got Bitcoin? Bet. Now you about to get robbed. What do you think about that? I think it would be fun. You know what I'm saying? Then as we make money, we could hire like former Navy SEALs and ex-MMA fighters and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like we could really have a very scary team out here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said some clown will probably create a technology that can detect cell phones that have crypto apps on them and display the result on Google Maps. Yeah. And then, you know, the Democrats would talk about it on CNN. Right? Mind you, most of us are in the country legally, right? So, you know, this is an older article. At the time of this article, right? This is from yesterday, July 21st. Ethereum roars to $3,800. What's driving the surge? Let me ask you guys this question. What is Ethereum's current price? What is Ethereum's current price? If there's anybody that can put Ethereum's current price in the chat, I'd appreciate it. What's Ethereum's current price? Ethereum ETFs are seeing faster capital inflows than Bitcoin's, with BlackRock's ETH ETF attracting $8.1 billion so far. Does that sound like anything's cooled off? Total crypto market liquidity surged by $74 billion since April, largely from Ethereum and Bitcoin futures and ETF activity. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Hold on real quick. Let me see. Look at this. We just got taxed. We just got taxed right in the middle of an article. Hold on real quick. Let me see. Start making it look. I wonder if do you have to be a Benzinga Edge member to finish reading this article? Oh yeah, you do. Well, I guess that's all we get. Got to make your boy great. So your boy got disposable income to be able to read this. Let me see. Hold on real quick. I'm going to try something real quick while you guys are chilling. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment. Smash that like button. Also, if you haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media. Yeah, they just hit the paywall on us right in the middle of the article. You know what I'm saying? That's how they do. All right. So anyway, we about to take a look at another article. Hopefully this article don't hit us with the paywall right in the middle. 3,700. Shout out to Carlton. 3,700. That's the Ethereum price. And it looks like there's a lot of red in the market today. It looks like there's a lot of red in the market today. Interestingly, right? Ethereum rockets past $3,700. Okay. As option traders eye $12,000 moonshot. So, do you guys remember earlier in the year, Standard Charter had gutted their Ethereum prediction? Standard Charter had said that Ethereum probably wouldn't top $4,000 by the end of the year? If you guys remember that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't remember that, give me a thumbs down. Standard Charter had gutted their Ethereum prediction. Now you have people taking out long positions, eyeing $12,000. Okay. Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said, I saw a video about 1099 DA. I haven't checked into it, but wouldn't that make our crypto an automatic business? I'm not sure. I would have to check that out, bro. I'm not familiar with 1099 DA. I would definitely have to check that out. Ethereum just hit a new all-time high of 3,000. I'm sorry, not a new all-time high, a new high of $3,772 per coin on Deribit versus the US dollar, and it's still climbing. Its piece of the $3.9 trillion crypto economy has expanded from 10.9% just 3 days ago to a cool 11.6% today, boasting a $452.66 billion market capitalization. Okay. As of Sunday, July 20th, Ethereum is valued at $3,745 each. All right. Having jumped 25.5% this week. Just 3 days prior, 1 Ether was worth 0.029 Bitcoin, and it has since climbed to 0.0313. I'm sorry, 0.03173 Bitcoin. Across social media platforms like X, many Ethereum fans are convinced this is just the beginning. The run Ethereum is about to go on is going to be glorious, one person wrote. Bitcoin dominance down, alts getting stronger by the day, the X account added. Okay. Today, Bitcoin's market share is down to 60.2%, while Ethereum has climbed to 11.6% of the $3.9 trillion cryptocurrency market. A big reason for this increased interest in Ethereum comes from public companies embracing Ethereum for their treasury plans and from spot Ethereum exchange traded funds bringing significant amounts of capital inflows. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. What companies have began an Ethereum treasury strategy? Does anybody know? We talked about, what was that? Game Shark. We're going to talk about them today. But what other companies have added an Ethereum treasury strategy to their balance sheet? Somebody let me know. Okay. Ethereum futures open interest has blasted through the $55 billion mark, settling a new all-time high and painting the chart green with excitement. As Ethereum's price tears towards the $4,000 line, the rising tide of open contracts is drawing serious attention. Data shows a synchronized dance between price and open interest, with both building momentum in tandem, especially since mid-April. It's a clear sign that traders are piling in, betting big on Ethereum's next move. CME and Binance are leading the futures frenzy, with Binance commanding the largest share, 2.64 million Ethereum in open interest, valued at $9.88 billion. CME isn't far behind, posting $7 billion in OI, while Gate has quietly stacked $7.15 billion with the second largest Ethereum position by dollar value. Notably, MEXC and Bing X are seeing some of the highest 24-hour growth, up 6.86% and a whopping 11.18 respectively. However, not everyone's in sync. KuCoin and Bing X show a sharp split between short-term gains and daily drop-offs, hinting at turbulent plays beneath the surface. Ethereum's option markets are heating up fast, okay? The data screams bullish enthusiasm. On Deribit, most popular contracts are loaded with upside bets, like the September 26, 2025 $4,000 call, leading with nearly 100,000 Ethereum in open interest. Traders are also seeing skies with the $6,000 December 2025 strike, showing they're not afraid to shoot their shot. Even the $12,000 calls saw the most volume over the past 24 hours. And yes, you read that correctly, $12,000. That's some serious moon talk. Okay. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. $12,000 Ethereum by the end of 2025. How many people think that's a possibility? If you think that that's a possibility, give me a thumbs up. If you do not think that that's a possibility, then give me a thumbs down. Okay. Calls are absolutely dominating puts, with open interest skewed 66.43% to 33.57%. That's 2.29 million Ethereum stacked in bullish bets versus 1.15 million Ethereum on the downside. The same pattern plays out in 24-hour volume. 62% of it comes from calls, further underlying the optimism flooding the options desk. This tilt towards upside contracts suggests traders are positioning for explosive moves rather than hedging for the downside. Long story short, traders are loading up on spot Ethereum futures and options across the board. And with the spot price and open interest both climbing, the market's got its eyes wide open on what comes next. All right, so let's try to figure this out here. What comes next? What comes next? What's the next thing gonna be? Okay. Now, there's a company called SharpLink. All right. And this company called SharpLink has adopted an Ethereum treasury strategy. Now, if more companies begin to adopt an Ethereum treasury company, what's that going to do to Ethereum's price? Somebody let me know what that's going to do to Ethereum's price. Prediction: SharpLink's Ethereum move is just the beginning. All right, let's look at the key points. A handful of publicly traded companies, including SharpLink Gaming, now have embraced the Ethereum treasury company model. Okay. What is the Ethereum treasury company model? What is it? Just like the Bitcoin treasury company model, it relies on raising money from investors to buy crypto. It remains to be seen if a strategy created for Bitcoin will be just as successful for Ethereum. And this is one of the criticisms of these non-Bitcoin strategic reserves that I've had for now. We don't have enough data. People are applying Bitcoin success to other cryptocurrencies, making the assumption that other cryptocurrencies are going to do the same as Bitcoin. And I don't think that that's a good assumption to make without data supporting it. You know what I'm saying? Something very interesting is going on with Ethereum right now. Small, relatively unknown companies are starting to add Ethereum, the native coin of the Ethereum blockchain, to their balance sheet as part of a new strategy designed to lift their stock market valuations. And so far, it's working. Okay. Case in point, during the past 30 days, shares of SharpLink Gaming, which this ticker is SBET, are up a whopping 150% as of July 18th. SharpLink Gaming has attracted so much attention with its new crypto strategy that it's almost certain to attract other companies as well. All right. So let me ask you guys this question. How many people are down to experiment with SBET stock? If you're down to experiment with SBET stock, put a SBET in the chat. If you're not, put thumbs down in the chat. Okay. The Ethereum treasury company model. In a very short time, SharpLink Gaming has become the largest corporate holder of Ethereum coins on the planet. All right. So for all intents and purposes, SharpLink is the MicroStrategies of Ethereum. Yeah, bet. Yeah, I've followed this one already, and we're gonna start tracking it. So SBET is gonna become one of our companies. SBET is gonna become one of our companies. All right. Now we'll see how it goes. Right? We'll see how it goes. Now, this is pretty impressive. SBET now holds 280,706 Ethereum tokens, worth about 960 million at recent prices. To put that figure into perspective, that's more Ethereum than even the nonprofit Ethereum Foundation holds. Okay. SharpLink has more Ethereum than Ethereum itself. So that would tell you they're pretty bullish on Ethereum, right? If you guys would agree, they're pretty bullish on Ethereum. Give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. In early July, the company raised more than $400 million for its Ethereum war chest. After its latest buy in mid-July, it has more than $250 million for future purchases. So it's likely that we'll be hearing more from SharpLink Gaming soon. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna be, throwing a little bit of money into SBET. Throwing a little bit of money into SBET, which we'll check out how it looks in about 5 years. What do you guys think? Who's gonna still be here in 5 years? If you still gonna be here in 5 years, throw a 5 in the chat. We'll see where we at. You know what I'm saying? We doing pretty good for where we started out at, right? We got a nice little launch pad to go up from. Maybe in 5 years, I'll be live streaming from a mansion like Saint Center. I'll be live streaming from the Black Light Plantation like Satan Center. What do you guys think about that? If this strategy sounds familiar, that's because the Ethereum Treasury Company model is a replica of the Bitcoin Treasury Company model pioneered by Strategy, the company formerly known as MicroStrategy. Now, let's talk about Strategy. If Strategy found a way to create billions of dollars from Bitcoin, and other people are saying Bitcoin is the devil, like on Waterboy, like Waterboy's mom, they sound like Waterboy mom, right? Because mama said. These are mama said people saying what Waterboy's mama said. What does that say about the people that run Strategy versus the people that sound like Waterboy's mama? I'm just saying. How many people thought that fire was evil when they rubbed two sticks together? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. The concept is very simple. Instead of using cash from operations to fund crypto purchases, you tap the capital markets for funding. Once you have this funding lined up, you go on a crypto buying spree. Now, listen, I got a question for you guys, and this is a serious question. Most of us, I would say, are probably within the 1% of cryptocurrency. And not 1%. Let's say most of us are probably in the 10% of cryptocurrency holdings, right? If we corporatized ourselves and pooled our resources together, we'd be able to draw capital against our existing resources and use that capital to buy more cryptocurrency. And then all we have to do is just buy, hold, and stake the cryptocurrency. That would be the business. How many people would be interested in something like that? If you'd be interested in something like that, give me a thumbs up. If you're not interested in something like that, then give me a thumbs down. All of this works as long as the price of cryptocurrency continues to go up. We've seen this work with Bitcoin because the price of Bitcoin, aside from a few pullbacks here and there, has mostly gone up during the past 24 months. The same might be said for Ethereum, which is up 7% in 2025 as of July 18th, after registering losses for much of the year. It remains to be seen if Ethereum can deliver the same type of performance as Bitcoin, which is up 30% in the same period. And if you ask me, there's already enough data to suggest that Ethereum's not going to deliver the same performance as Bitcoin. There's already enough data that we don't really need to explore that. We don't really need to go down that rabbit hole. We already know that Ethereum is not going to post the same type of gains as Bitcoin. So I'm curious to see what the strategy is, right? For now, only a handful of publicly traded companies have adopted this strategy. Two other notable examples are BitMine Immersion Technologies and Bit Digital. Both announced their pivots to this model in June. All right, so we should check these out as well. However, I would be more inclined to stick with SBET because they already have the 120,000 Ethereum, and I'm hoping they bought a significant portion of that at around $1,800. See, like when it comes to these companies, their holdings, it matters when they bought their holdings, if you ask me. MicroStrategy's average Bitcoin purchase price is $70-some thousand. And the reason why they change their amounts of buys is probably because they want to keep their average purchasing price at $70,000, because as long as their average purchasing price is at $70,000, that increases the spread of the current top of where Bitcoin is at right now. Now, Michael Saylor can sit there and say, I'm going to buy the top as much as he wants to, but he doesn't always buy 50,000 at the top. Sometimes he'll buy 1,000 at the top. So that's how you can manipulate the numbers. Like, yeah, I'm always buying top, but am I buying 50,000 Bitcoin at the top? I'm not buying 50,000 Bitcoin at the top. You know what I'm saying? So this is what's called the time value of money when it comes to financial engineering, right? And the CAPM, capital asset pricing model. So you need it's very important to know when these assets were bought for valuation purposes. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. I appreciate you, Brooklyn Queen. Make sure y'all show Brooklyn Queen some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen says, don't forget to check your other AI stocks as well. Let's get this. Facts. Yo, and if you are a holder of Mara Holdings, right, and some of those other companies, those are doing really well. Clean Spark and all of those are doing really well. So is Circle, right? How many people picked up on some Circle? All of those doing really well. I got this feeling Nvidia is gonna go even higher very soon. How many people would like to expand the content into talking about those type of companies more than we just talk about crypto? If that's something that you guys would be interested in, give me a thumbs up. Shout out to the replay gang. Leave a comment in the chat for the replay gang. And also make sure you guys show Brooklyn Queen some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for Brooklyn Queen for funding the organization and feeding the liquidity and putting food in the belly of the beast.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Putting dollars in the belly of the beast. You know what I'm saying? Beast Mark Fine. Hey, that's what we should name the company. How many people would be down to name the company Beast Mark Financial? If you guys want to name the company Beast Mark Financial, throw some flames in the chat. Now, let me see what else we got. Okay, let's do this. Bitcoin retirement. Because ultimately, this is where we want to be at, right? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen said, get that copy written. Facts. Shout out to, listen, there's going to be a huge merger, right? A merger between Bitcoin Queen Financial, Strange Investments, Mahi Money, right? And AB Promotions with Beast Financial and Blacklight Industrial. And it'll be called Beast Mark Holdings. Your protection from the financial apocalypse. Sell your soul to Beast Mark Financial. You know what I'm saying? And we will keep your assets safe. We'll keep your assets safe as you would be if you were surrounded by fire and brimstone. You know what I'm saying? I think that's great. Make a lot of money in the future. Make a lot of money in the future. Now, how can people get mad at it if you start your stream out with a Bible verse? You know what I'm saying? We started our stream out with a Bible verse. We blessed the stream, didn't we? If we blessed the stream, put the prayer hands in the chat. We blessed the stream. You know what I'm saying? How many people are fed up with the daily grind? If you are sick and tired of going to work to make somebody else rich, put the angry face in the chat. Bitcoin researcher says you can retire with less than 1 Bitcoin. Now, we should get 100% engagement on this one. How many people have less than 1 Bitcoin? If you have less than 1 Bitcoin, put the sad face in the chat. If you got less than 1 Bitcoin, put the sad face in the chat. This is one of the reasons why I always talk about Ethereum. This is what this. When I first got into cryptocurrency, I invested. My brother invested in Bitcoin heavily, right? And I invested in Bitcoin, right? But not heavily. I invested in Ethereum heavily. And I am thoroughly disappointed with Ethereum's results and highly envious of Bitcoin's results. Clearly, right? My brother is in a far better financial place in his life than I am as a result of him investing in Bitcoin heavily, you know what I'm saying? And me investing in Ethereum heavily. When he was investing in Bitcoin, Bitcoin was about $1,500. I was investing in Bitcoin, but not investing in Bitcoin to the extent of having more Bitcoin than I do Ethereum. You know what I'm saying? And I wish I had bought Bitcoin at those prices back then. You know what I'm saying? I probably would be retired today if I had bought Bitcoin at those prices back then. I'm not satisfied with my Ethereum holdings, but you know what I'm saying? It's just, you live and learn. I'm glad I did. I'll tell you what, though. Bitcoin has grown so much. I'm glad I did buy the Bitcoin that I had. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that I did buy the Bitcoin that I had, because Bitcoin has grown so much. Even the small amount of Bitcoin that I had has significantly increased in size against the rest of my portfolio, which is one of the reasons why when I keep telling people I'm getting pushed towards Bitcoin maximalism, it's all fact-based. It's all performance-based. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. All right? Planning your retirement. According to a new analysis, you can retire with less than 1 Bitcoin to quit the 9-to-5 by 2035 in many countries. All right? How many people are planning to retire in the United States? How many people are planning to retire outside the United States? I'm planning to retire wherever I can afford, wherever that ends up being. We live in a global world. You can get anywhere that you need to get to at the very least within 24 hours. I'm down for whatever. Wherever the money takes me is where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Wherever the money takes me is where I'm going, right? If the stresses and strains of modern life are becoming a little too much, fear not. Those of you who have been stacking sats may soon be able to take your foot off of the pedal. According to a Bitcoin researcher and creator of Smitty's Bitcoin Retirement Guide, in much of the world, you can retire with less than 1 Bitcoin in 2035. Okay. So here's a chart, I guess, and this shows the amount of Bitcoin that you need to retire in 2035 in some of these countries. Okay. So the most expensive countries are the United States, and they're saying in the United States you probably need, let me see, what is this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in the United States, looks like they're saying that you might need 4 Bitcoin. 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait a minute. No, United States. Yeah, United States, you'll need 4. Here's United States, this point right here, this intersection right here. All right. So, and look at the ages, you know, this is going from age 5 through age 75. Okay. Now, let me ask you guys this question. What year will it be when people who are just born are not able to purchase Bitcoin? What year will it be? Does anybody know? Of course, the amount of Bitcoin you need to retire depends on the country you live in, with Burundi and Afghanistan among the cheapest destinations. Now, yeah, I don't think most people want to live there at all. You know what I'm saying? Holders can withdraw from the 9-to-5 with substantially less than 0.01 Bitcoin in Afghanistan. Take a guess why. You know what I'm saying? Just remember that such bargains often come with a literal power premium. Burundi's grid reaches only 12% of households, So plan on candlelit mode, sinks, or solar ring, while Afghanistan's coverage is around 85%, but still prone to blackout roulette. And again, I mean, you can't live like that. Monaco and Liechtenstein will set you back the most if you want to spend your later years frequenting beaches, casinos, and swanky hotels. You'll need about 7 Bitcoin to be a high baller among the likes of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez here. Okay. How does Smitty come up with these numbers? Before you sell your home, bid farewell to your family and friends, and buy your ticket, you should know this chart is based on a couple of assumptions. The first is that U.S. monetary expansions continue to grow at a 7% annual rate. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. How many people think that the United States monetary supply will increase faster than 7%? If you guys think that that'll happen, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. I think that the M2 money supply is going to increase faster. We're going to see crazy inflation. Second is that annual expenses remain on par, which we know that's not going to be the case, because if the money supply is expanding, inflation's also going to hit. So those two things, in most cases, fundamentally can't happen at the same time. For this study, annual expenses are based on each country's average annual income in US dollars, taken from worlddata.info. The model also assumes everyone lives to be 100 years old. And I don't think that it's a bad goal for people to attempt to live to be 100 years old. Make lifestyle changes, eat clean, work out, take the stairs, don't take the elevator, walk to as many destinations as you can, eat vegetables and fruit as often as you can, breathe in clean air. You know what I'm saying? Go to the doctor, go to your regular checkups. I don't see why living healthy to 100 years old should be far-fetched. You know what I'm saying? So it says the model also assumes that everyone lives to 100 years old. So depending on your genes, you may need more or less sats to see you through your deathbed. And again, for one, death is outdated, right? And for two, you're still going to need to take care of your family after you've passed. So you need to make sure that you're not just spending wild amounts of money and have completely drained your assets to the point where your family's not able to benefit as well. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. How many people, shout out to the people in the Reacts Facebook chat, shout out to the Discord. I can't remember if I put this in the Discord, but I'm pretty sure I put it in the Facebook chat. There was a video that Tone Talks did that talked about the decay of Black wealth. How many people saw that video? If that's a video that you would like to see us go over and react to, give me a thumbs up. If that's not something that you're interested in, then give me a thumbs down. I think that it's interesting because you will find some interesting parallels and charts in that video that look very similar to cryptocurrency charts. Shout out to Carlton for going to the gym. This was good. Shout out to AB. AB says, notice how they are contemplating moving and living outside of the United States of America. Big, yeah. Facts. Now, listen, one of the best exercises that you can do at the gym to maintain your heart health, which is one of the things that you want to concentrate on. Most people don't have like a set of exercises to quote unquote improve their heart health, which is unfortunate because if you ask me, heart health is more important than leg day for obvious reasons, but people always concentrate on leg day. You know what I'm saying? Is power rowing. People should go to the gym and do massive amounts of power rows at high intensity, fast and high. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. So, yeah, I think that's pretty interesting, man. I'm trying to retire. I'm trying to retire so I can have plenty of time to travel, do what I want to, and then just talk crap on YouTube all day long. You know what I'm saying? It's one of my goals. I just want to sit here and talk crap. I want to talk crap about people that people like, and they can't do anything about it because I got so much money, there's nothing you can do to stop it. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think? Does that sound like a good in-game goal? Does that sound like a good in-game goal? If that sounds like a good in-game goal, throw some flames in the chat. Yeah, facts. Shout out to DJ Elmo. Heart health essential. Coenzyme Q10 and nitric oxide. Facts. Fish oil, omega fatty acids, right? 3, 6, and 9. You know what I'm saying? Eat some salmon. Get some salmon in your life. Right? Get some salmon in your life. Get some kale in your life. You know what I'm saying? Uber Eats should be called death delivery because they'll deliver you some slop. There's not too many places that'll deliver you a good, healthy salad. You know what I'm saying? So just, you know, if it's easy, in most cases, it's not good for you. It's not good for you. People still haven't figured out that correlation, though. Shout out to the Discord. I shared a channel that I listen to very frequently. It's called Dark Motivation. You know what I'm saying? And it's narrated by a Bane voice. You know what I'm saying? It's narrated by a Bane voice. I put this video in there yesterday, and it's called Isolation is the Price of Genius. You guys should listen to it. We'll listen to a little bit of it. We'll listen to a little bit of it before we get to this next. But I think people should listen to this. You know what I'm saying? I listen to I listen to channels like this all the time. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to Carlton. Carlton said today is back biceps and Bitcoin day. Facts. Every day is Bitcoin day. Facts. Every day is Bitcoin day. Let's listen to these words of wisdom from Bane real quick. What do you guys think? Words of wisdom from Bane?
Commissioner Gordon, Bane has escaped.
Isolation is the price of genius, because brilliance does not bloom in the noise. It's born in silence so heavy it breaks average men. When the world praises groupthink and applause, the genius walks away. Not out of arrogance, but necessity. Because you cannot build the extraordinary while orbiting the ordinary. You cannot stretch your mind while...
Woo! First 36 seconds, Bane dropping heavy jewels. Heavy jewels. Heavy jewels. Yeah, facts. If you guys agree with Brooklyn Queen, throw some flames in the chat. Brooklyn Queen said that video was right on time. I've been cutting off a lot of energy vampires. Now, you will never hear a hero talk like this. You'll never hear a hero talk like this.
Average men. When the world praises groupthink and applause, the genius walks away. Not out of arrogance, but necessity. Because you cannot build the extraordinary while orbiting the ordinary. You cannot stretch your mind while protecting every comfort. You cannot hear the blueprint if you're always performing for validation. So you vanish, you withdraw, you detach from the timelines, the group chats, the opinions, the cycles of subtle conformity. Because genius demands space, not to escape reality, but to reshape it. And that reshaping begins with isolation.
Hey, shout out to Carlton. Carlton said Bane was high-key taking shots at the lift. Hey, go take some Bitcoin from Bane. Go walk up to Bane and say, give me your Bitcoin. Bane will be like, hi, I'm Bane. I break people.
Isolation. The furnace that burns away distraction and softens the soul enough to bend it into something divine. People will not understand. They will call it avoidance, detachment, even madness. But they mistake solitude for suffering because they've never sat alone without shrinking. They fear silence because their thoughts are strangers to them. But you welcome the echo. You let it speak. And through
they fear thoughts because their thoughts are strangers to them. Man, Bane preaching right now, man. Bane's preaching right. And you can see this. Look around. Look around.
You cannot hear the blueprint if you're always performing for validation. So you vanish. You withdraw. You detach from the timelines, the group chats, the opinions, the cycles of subtle conformity. Because genius demands space, not to escape reality, but to reshape it. And that reshaping begins with isolation.
The genius requires space to reshape reality.
The furnace that burns away distraction and softens the soul enough to bend it into something divine. People will not understand. They will call it avoidance, detachment, even madness. But they mistake solitude for suffering because they've never sat alone without shrinking. They fear silence because their thoughts are strangers to them. But you welcome the echo. You let it speak. And through that echo, you hear things others can't. You connect dots they never saw. You move through the fog and you build while they sleep. They will mock you now, but study you later. Because while
they will mock you now, but they will study you later. Shout out to Alonda. I got it in the Discord, but I'll put it in the chat too.
danced in circles, you walked through fire, and you did it alone. Not because you wanted to, but because no one else could carry the burden of your vision. Genius does not ask to be seen, it asks to be delivered, and delivery requires retreat. In isolation, time bends, minutes stretch into miles. Every hour becomes an excavation. You're not avoiding the world, you're unearthing yourself, layer by layer, lie by lie. You kill the personas, you kill the people-pleasing reflexes. You murder the boy who needed permission. What's left is something unfiltered, unmarketed, and incomprehensible to most. That rawness. That is the soil where genius grows. It's not refined by applause. It's forged in the absence of it. Because the truth is, genius rejects comfort. It runs from it. Comfort is the sedative that dulls potential.
He dropped in bars. Comfort is the sedative that dulls potential. Man, listen. Man, listen. That's why I listen to that type of stuff. That's why I listen to that type of stuff. Because it's true. And this is why I asked the question: do rich people deserve to be rich? Let me ask you this question. In 2035, when you're rich and everybody else is broke, do you deserve your wealth? Shout out to Katsy. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Strategy bags another $472 million in Bitcoin as Bitcoin jumps to new highs. Michael Saylor Strategy made a fresh $472.5 million investment in Bitcoin to see total holdings cross 600,000 Bitcoin as the cryptocurrency surged past new heights. Okay. Michael Saylor Strategy, the world's largest public holder of Bitcoin, made another major investment in the asset during the past week as Bitcoin surged to new historic highs of $118,000. Strategy acquired 4,225 Bitcoin for $472.5 million last week. And this is what I'm talking about. You see this purchase right here? Now, mind you, that is an impressive purchase. I can't sit there and say, yo, these purchases suck. I can't say that, right? But what I'm saying is that the number, he adjusts the number to maintain the average price at about $70,000. Okay. And shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media. The company announced in a U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filing on Monday, Strategy's new Bitcoin buy averaged $111,827 per coin, with Bitcoin surging from about $108,000 on July 7th to $118,000 by the end of the week, according to CoinGecko. Okay. Now, I got a question for you guys. August 31st, where do you see Bitcoin's price at? August 31st, ladies and gentlemen, where is Bitcoin's price going to be? Somebody let me know. The acquisition has increased Strategy's Bitcoin holdings to 601,555 Bitcoin, purchased for about $42.87 billion at an average price of $71,268 per coin. Okay. Strategy's first buy in July. Strategy's latest Bitcoin purchase was its first officially disclosed in July, following a brief pause during the first week of the month. And you know why they paused? Because during the first week of the month, Bitcoin wasn't at all-time highs. You know, Michael Saylor's strategy, he gonna do it like a baller. He gonna do it like a pimp. He gonna buy it at the top. So he's waiting for all-time highs to go all in. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said he might as well buy all the Bitcoin at one swoop. He can't do that because he said he's gonna always buy the top. So there's always got to be some available Bitcoin for him to buy the top. You know what I'm saying? When they get to 2.9 million in 2035, he's got to be able to buy the Bitcoin at 2.9 million. Right? During that period, Strategy announced a $4.2 billion stock sale and reported $14 billion in unrealized gains for Q2 of 2025. A similar pause occurred early in April, likely as the company prepared to report its Q1 gains. The new purchases brought Strategy's Bitcoin year-to-date gain to 88,062 Bitcoin, or $10.9 billion, compared to a 140,538 Bitcoin gain for the entire 2024, or 13 billion, according to Strategy data. All right. Strategy's senior vice president sells 62,500 MicroStrategy shares. Now, we asked this question, and I'm going to ask this question all the time. How many people are on the 10 MicroStrategies stock plan? If you're on the 10 MicroStrategy stock plan, give me a thumbs up. If you're not on the 10 MicroStrategy stock plan, then give me a thumbs down. How many people are trying to accumulate 10 MicroStrategy stocks? Because remember, according to Michael Saylor, the 10 MicroStrategy stocks, that's allegedly the guaranteed $1 million, right? So how many people are on that? If you guys are on that, give me a thumbs up. If you're not on that, then give me a thumbs down. Prior to announcing the new $427 million Bitcoin buy, Strategy submitted 3 filings to the SEC on proposed sale of securities. The filings included information on Strategy's senior executive vice president, Wei Ming Xiao, selling a total of 62,500 common A Strategy shares worth around 25.7 million. I mean, that's nice, right? That's very nice. The sale specifically included a 32,500 MicroStrategy sale on Wednesday, a 20,000 MicroStrategy sale on Thursday, and another 10,000 MicroStrategy sale on Friday. So you guys remember when Michael Saylor said, it's going up forever, Laura. You guys remember when he said that? Strategy's latest Bitcoin purchase came as Bitcoin broke through the past historical high above $112,000 on Wednesday. After starting the week at $108,000, the Bitcoin price had surged to $118,000 by Sunday. It has seen further growth to as high as $123,000 on Monday. As Bitcoin has continued to break new all-time highs since last Wednesday, Strategy's co-founder Saylor has remained vocal in expressing his bullish outlook on social media. It's going up forever, Laura, Saylor wrote in response to Unchained's founder, Laura Shin, who took to an X post about Bitcoin breaking $119,000 on Sunday. So she said, damn, Bitcoin hit another all-time high. There go Michael Saylor. It's going up forever, Laura. Saylor first delivered the line during a 2021 interview on Shin's Unchained podcast, where he said, it's the technically superior asset class compared to the dollar, euro, compared to a stock index, compared to gold, compared to silver, compared to everything you can conceivably buy. If you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. And I wouldn't disagree with that statement. I wouldn't disagree with that statement. Shout out to AW1. What's good with it, bro? How many people agree Bitcoin is the superior asset? It's the apex asset. It's the pinnacle of all asset classes. I agree with that. I believe that with 100% conviction. The only other asset that is more valuable and precious than Bitcoin is time. And time cannot be replaced currently. It can only be optimized. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions, MicroStrategy stock. The 10 MicroStrategy stocks supposed to get you $1 million in the future. Right? So I'm on the 10 MicroStrategies $1 million path. That's what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? We got the $1 million $1 million starter kit, right? Let me ask y'all this question. What's the $1 million starter kit? Put all the ingredients of the $1 million starter kit in the chat. All the ingredients. All right. Now we're gonna see how Bitcoin's performance has improved MicroStrategy's market cap. Okay. These things are tightly correlated. These things are tightly correlated. And they're wonderful for our pockets. Yeah, I would agree. Shout out to AB Promotions. I would agree. Evidence has shown it. Facts. Now let's actually put some evidence up. Right? Let's actually put some evidence up. Here's some evidence. Right? Let me see. Here's some evidence. 100 assets versus Bitcoin. Since June 18th of 2015, Bitcoin has returned 42,716%. The NASDAQ composite has returned 284.1%. The S&P 500 has returned 184.7%. US dollar has returned 124%. Okay. Let's look at some more evidence. Bitcoin versus traditional assets. Okay. Where are we at? Year 14. Let's look at year 14. Gold has returned 102%. S&P 500 has returned 400%. Bitcoin has returned, what is this? 107 million%. Is that what that is? There's 3 zeros there. Yeah, 3 zeros there, 3 zeros there. 107 million%. Okay. How do you argue with this evidence? That's the question. How does one contest this evidence? Bitcoin and traditional assets return on investment. So this goes 10 years. The 10-year on Bitcoin return is 254,905%. 10-year return on gold, 9%. 10-year return on S&P 500, 198%. Now, if what you're trying to do is maximize your return, what asset maximizes your return? Just based on the evidence that I put up. Just based on that evidence that we put up. What asset provides the best return? Somebody let me know. All right. Michael Saylor's strategy hit record market cap amid Bitcoin surge. Now, let me ask you guys this question. 2035. Grok AI says that Bitcoin is going to $2.9 million. If Bitcoin goes to $2.9 million, where is MicroStrategy's going? what would a per share price of MicroStrategy stock be? That's my question. Shout out to Katsy. Katsy says Bitcoin is the superior asset. I would agree. If you guys agree with Katsy, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Strategy's executive chairman, Michael Saylor, took to social media on Wednesday to share the news after recently disclosing a major Bitcoin buy. Michael Saylor's strategy closed the trading day on Wednesday at its highest ever market capitalization as Bitcoin continues to float near all-time highs. MicroStrategy's just closed at an all-time high market cap, Saylor said in an X post on Wednesday. MicroStrategy's price is gearing up for new highs, okay? It comes as MicroStrategy's stock price has climbed 21.52% over the past month, closing Wednesday at $455.90, according to Google Finance data. Meanwhile, Bitcoin has surged 10% over the past month, reaching new highs of $122,884 on Monday before pulling back to $118,413 at the time of publication, according to Nansen data. Options trader Sean Trades said in a post on Wednesday that MicroStrategies is gearing up for the next leg to all-time highs. Okay, so let me ask you guys this question today. What is MicroStrategy's current price? What's the current price of MicroStrategy stock? Somebody let me know in the comment section. What's the current price? Despite setting a new market cap record, MicroStrategies is trading 19% below its all-time high of $543 reached on November 20th. The firm has continued to issue stock to raise funds for its Bitcoin accumulation strategy. MicroStrategies clocks 11th day of S&P 500 qualifier amid more Bitcoin buying, okay? Strive Fund's Bitcoin strategy vice president Jeff Walton said in a post on X Wednesday that it is the 11th day of strategies qualifying for the S&P 500, okay? In May, during the Financial Times documentary, Michael Saylor's $40 billion Bitcoin bet, Walton predicted that strategy would become the #1 public traded equity in the entire market because of its future financial strength enabled with Bitcoin. So now let me ask you guys this. If this is possible and if this is true and if this is what Bitcoin is doing for MicroStrategies, what will Bitcoin do for your financial future potential? This is one of the reasons why it's so important to make sure you got some and make sure you keep getting some. The company announced in a Monday U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filing that they acquired 4,225 Bitcoin for $472.5 million last week. Okay. Strategy will release its latest earnings report on August 5th. The firm has reported net losses for the past 3 quarters. Okay. So yeah, pretty interesting. Solana, look at Solana. Solana's almost back at $200. I didn't notice that. I didn't realize that. Solana's almost back at $200. Doge is at 26 cents. I remember when Doge was less than a penny. I remember when Tron was less than a penny. Let's see what else we got going on. $25 is a good price for AVAX. Sui under $4 is a decent price. You know what I'm saying? So again, as you can see, like there's not. Do you see how like there's not really just this upward momentum with altcoins? I think that what happened with the market is that the market just did a natural rebalancing to where it was supposed to be. I don't believe that this is any of the skyrocketing that we're to be expecting. You will know when that skyrocketing occurs. And the reason why you will know when that skyrocketing occurs is because you will wake up before you have even looked at any of your cryptocurrency wallets or any of your exchange information. You will do your daily thing. You will go throughout your day like nothing happened. And then you'll go to check your cryptocurrency wallet. And when you check your cryptocurrency wallet, you will drop the device that you are looking at it on because you will think that something glitched. You will refresh the screen, and you will sit there and refresh the screen for about 5 minutes straight, just staring at the value. Then you'll call off work, and you will enjoy the rest of your day. That's how you will know when that skyrocket moment has happened. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, now we are living in the moment that ZBEC is under a penny. Yeah, facts. Look, we lived through Pudgy Penguins under a penny. No one's really talking about Pudgy Penguins, but Pudgy Penguins is going ham. And they got an ETF coming possibly. ZBEC has been going wild, and it's just a matter of time before Pump.Fund goes wild. ZBEC was one of the only tokens that was performing well when everything else was not doing well. Bitcoin and ZBEC were trading at about 80% of the all-time high for the most part throughout the bear market. People didn't really pay attention though. Some people did. We did, of course. A lot of people didn't though. There's gonna be a time when there's videos on YouTube that says all you need is 1,000 ZBEC. Well, if that's all we need, you know what I'm saying? If that's all we need, I guess we better gear up for wrench attacks then, right? MicroStrategies has 607,770 Bitcoin. Strategy holds nearly 3% of Bitcoin's total supply. Okay. Now, how much did they say BlackRock owned? How much Bitcoin does BlackRock have? Let's see. BlackRock and MicroStrategies both have about 3%. BlackRock now owns 3% of all Bitcoin. Okay. MicroStrategies also owns about 3% of all Bitcoin. Okay. MicroStrategies also owns about 3% of all Bitcoin. MicroStrategies' Bitcoin accumulation model has influenced over 140 other public firms to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets. Okay. And we just got taxed. And we just got taxed. Okay. So next, what we're going to do, shout out to Carlton. Make sure you guys show Carlton some love. Carlton found a company worthy of examination. So we're going to take a look at this company called Figma. All right. How many people have ever heard of Figma? If you guys have ever heard of Figma, give me a thumbs up. If you guys have not heard of Figma, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Figma, right? Figma doesn't realize how much of an accomplishment this is, but Figma is Strange Financial's first stock recommendation. So shout out to Figma for being Strange Investments' first stock recommendation. All right. Figma's IPO seeks a $13 billion valuation with a Bitcoin investment as a sweetener. Figma sets terms in its upcoming initial public offering, and co-founder Dylan Field is selling shares to raise more than $60 million. Now, look at how this guy seems like he's probably pretty young. Can I ask you guys a question? Why are people not attempting to raise money to reinvest into themselves and reinvest into Bitcoin? Why? Why are people just sitting back letting this happen? Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. Yeah, shout out to Carlton. Make sure y'all throw some flames in the chat for Carlton. This is the first official recommendation of strange investments. Terms of Figma's IPO would value the company at $13 billion, and co-founder and CEO Dylan Fields is offering more than 2 million shares in the IPO, which would put more than 60 million in his pocket. Okay. We got taxed. Look, we about to get taxed. So we don't know too much about this company, which is one of the reasons why it's a strange investment, right? So yeah, there's that. Right? It must be worth something because it must be worth something because they're charging us to find out about it. Oh man, right? Now check this out, man. This doesn't happen very often. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you know, we did good. We got through most of the stuff. Now, I want to show you guys something. Since we did get a chance to get through most of the information, I want to show you guys some information about BlackRock. Okay, because shout out to BlackRock, right? BlackRock is one of the companies that's part of our plan, right? Let me ask you guys this question. How much power does BlackRock have? That's my question. How much power does BlackRock have? We're going to take a look at BlackRock and how much power BlackRock has. We might get taxed on this too. Don't look like it right now. Yeah. Shout out to Carlton. A lot. Shout out to Katsy. More than most people realize. Yeah. Now, look at this. Right? BlackRock shares slump even as assets hit record 12.5 trillion on market rally. So, yeah, BlackRock has $12.5 trillion in assets under management. $12.5 trillion in assets under management, okay? BlackRock's assets under management rose to 12.53 trillion, driven by market rally. Long-term net inflows fell 9.8%, impacted by $52 billion withdrawal. Private markets and technology services boost revenue despite volatile market. Equity inflows surged to 28.8 billion, up from 6.44 billion last year. Shares fall over 6% due to investor concern. Now, here's my question. Why would anybody be concerned about any outflows from BlackRock when they have $12.5 trillion under management? 12.5. The reason why people would worry about that is because of the inconceivability of $12.5 trillion under asset management. That's almost inconceivable for most people. Let me ask you guys this question. What does $12.5 trillion in assets physically look like? Like, what does that look like? $12.5 trillion. What does that look like? Yeah, shout out to Katsy. Katsy said the only thing bigger than that is our country's debt. Who's competing with BlackRock? Who's competing with BlackRock? BlackRock's assets under management hit a new high in the second quarter as global markets rallied, but its shares tumbled as much as 7% after a large Asian institutional client pulled money from an index strategy. During the quarter ended June 30th, BlackRock's long-term net inflows fell to $46 billion in the quarter, down 9.8% on a year ago, and below average analyst expectations of 53.5 billion, with 52 billion pulled from a lower fee index fund by a client. Okay. The latest numbers from BlackRock highlight the pressure facing the broader asset management industry, which is attempting to quickly diversify revenue streams as it grapples with diminishing fees from lower fee strategies. There was some disappointment in the net flow, which were softer relative to recent quarters. Some investors are interpreting that as there are potentially more outflows from this client coming in future quarters, said Kyle Sanders, a financial services analyst for Edward Jones. Overall, net flows came in at $68 billion, driven mainly by cash management and money market funds. Okay. BlackRock's total revenue, most of which is earned as a percentage of assets under management, rose to $12.42 billion and $4.81 billion from $4.81 billion a year ago. Could you imagine that? Shout out to Maine. What's good with it, Maine? Yeah, shout out to Katsy. Katsy says no one can compete with them at the moment. Shout out to Maine. Maine brings up an interesting point. Maine says the Black community's spending power is $1.2 trillion. So that's insane. Now, here's my question. Does that $1.2 trillion get spent on the same type of things that BlackRock spends their money on? Here's another question about that 1.2 trillion. How much of that 1.2 trillion goes into growth spending? Like what's the compounded APY on this particular 1.2 trillion? Shout out to Maine. Yeah, right. Maine says hell no, right? So if there's no compounding on that 1.2 trillion dollars and the value of the dollar is eroding and decaying year over year, what's actually happening with that 1.2 trillion dollars? Is it increasing in value or is it decreasing in value? Now, mind you, out of this 1.2 trillion dollars, there is a effort to ensure that none of that 1.2 trillion dollars is invested into growth markets, right? Shout out to shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, "Uh-oh, here come the hammer." You know what I'm saying?
Pick up the hammer. Pick up the hammer. Stop. Hammer time.
There can no longer be a quote unquote why we broke question. That can no longer be a thing. Right? That can no longer be a thing. Now, with the $1.2 trillion, within that $1.2 trillion, what is the amount of quote unquote assets under management? And now, and here's another thing also. How much of that $1.2 trillion is reinvested into revenue generation? I think those are valid questions, right? If you guys would agree, those are valid questions. Give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. I think those are valid questions. So there can no longer be a quote unquote why we broke question. Let me ask you guys this question. Do you think any of that $1.2 trillion was siphoned into Carnival? You think anybody bought any Carnival stock? I bought Carnival stock. I'm going to be investing in Carnival. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Katsy. Katsy said, anyone who pays to watch shows is funding BlackRock, among so many other things. They have their hands in everything. I would agree 110%. If you guys agree with Katsy, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Maine. Maine says it's invested into revenue generation for other people. Facts. Now, here's the even better question. Who's putting the hammer to somebody's head and making them do that?
Pick up the hammer. Pick up the hammer. Stop. Hammer time.
Right? So instead of investing there, people now remember there's a concentrated effort, right, from the independent media conglomerate to drive people's revenues away from Bitcoin, which is increasing at a rate of 64% APY. So here's my question. If people are doing everything to avoid investment into the superior asset, what's going to happen with that $1.2 trillion? Shout out to AB Promotion. I'm not mad at that. You about to make me hungry, bro. AB Promotion said, I just got home. I'm about to break my 20-hour fast with the cheese omelet. I made peppers and onions and a New York strip steak. Man, that sounds good. That sounds good. Just don't make the steak like Tyler Perry. I heard that he'd been eating tube steak smothered in underwear. You know what I'm saying? Tube steak smothered in underwear, garnished with a little bit of dingleberry on the side. You know what I'm saying? Just be careful. Just don't do it like that. Shout out to Maine. Maine said they're gonna rob Robb to get it back. They're gonna rob Robb, and all of a sudden the window's gonna come down, and you're gonna see them running like.
Pick up the hammer. Pick up the hammer. Stop. Hammer time.
Now, mind you, right? Look, they'll now, and again, this is the backward shit, right? This is the backward shit. They actually would rob me, right? That's how mind you, this is our peers. They would rob me, right? First and foremost, you shouldn't rob anyone, but they would rob me, right? Right? They're not gonna rob BlackRock. They're gonna rob me and make a video about Ethiopians, is what's gonna happen. Like, what do that have to do with anything? BlackRock got all this damn money. Let's go rob Robb for his Bitcoin, and we're gonna make a video about how 10,000 Ethiopians getting deported. Like, what's that got to do with anything? You know what I'm saying? I guess that just fixed it. Shout out, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, that just fixed it, I guess. Like, make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Katsy. Katsy said, investing in a company that diversifies its mergers and acquisitions is the best way to go. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I want to ask you guys this question. Where is that $1.2 trillion going? Where is that money being poured into? That's my question. What do you guys think? Where's that money being poured into? Now, now, why did I say those things? I said those things to say this. It's the same situation of why is it that LA gang members never try to get check-in funding from Taylor Swift when she goes out there? Kid Rock. Shout out to Maine. Maine said consumer stuff mainly. Why are people buying that stuff? So now here go to, so then how do you deal with the why we broke question? So let's just say, for instance, the amount of available cash goes to $20 trillion for this particular market share. Where does the money go then? Where will it be infused into then? Hey, shout out to Carlton. This financial breakdown is brought to you by Strange Investments. The Strange Flex ETF is coming soon. You know what I'm saying? The Strange Flex ETF is going to track the price of Newports. It's going to track the price of Colt 45. It's going to track the price of Metropolitan Housing Authority real estate. And it's also going to track the price of Carlos Rossi. What do you guys think about that? Strange Flex ETF. Strange Flex ETF will be coming in 2026. Brought to you by none other than our sponsor, the Crow with Knife Goat himself, Carlton Way, founder and CEO of Strange Investments. Oh man, you can't make videos. You know what I'm saying? You gotta listen to them dark Bane videos. Shout out to Maine. Maine said it'll be worth nothing though. In the exact same direction, in the tradition of the wealth gap, right? In tradition of the wealth gap. Let me ask you guys this question. We got 365 days. Which day should we choose as wealth gap day? Well, on wealth gap day, that'll be the day when we set up tables. You know what I'm saying? We will set up tables, and Strange Investments will match up everyone who comes to the seminar with an investment manager to help you get your money right. Help you get into a strange ETF. Right? What you guys think? Shout out to AB. If it's not strange, it's not an investment. Right? As Strange Investments, we have an entire warehouse full of mattresses that have been cut open with box cutters. Call it, and the air condition is on all the way. It's called cold storage, right? For your cash. At Strange Investments, we offer a variety of service for people who have difficulties managing their money. We have mattress cold storage for your worthless fiat. Okay. Now we're speaking the language that people understand. Now we're speaking the language that Democrats speak in to their constituencies. And there's a reason why Democrats speak in that language to their constituencies. You can't use a fine point pen when people only understand jumbo crayon, right? Or either they act like that. So, I mean, you got to call them on it. Yeah, turn the AC, bumping that AC. Bumping that AC. Mattress cold storage. What did Lloyd Banks say is cooler than the other side of the pillow? You know what I'm saying? Now, I want to know where that $1.2 trillion is going. How many people have that $1.2 trillion made rich? See, this is why you got to call it Strange Investments. Because the $1.2 trillion has taken strange circulation. Would you guys agree? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. When a hip-hop artist goes to LA and the first in line for vagina in LA rob those people, That's a strange circulation. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. That's strange circulation. Strange circulation. That's how the money's going to circulate? Okay, that's interesting. Strange. Strange investment, right? Where's the money going? Where's the $1.2 trillion going into? What markets are the $1.2 trillion going into? How much of that $1.2 trillion are going into the failing real estate market that's only generating 0.5% every year? How much? Anybody know? Shout out to AB. AB says it's extortion. I would agree. If you guys would agree it's extortion, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's strange circulation. It's strange circulation. We don't like, if you don't like cryptocurrency, think about this. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said how the YouTube monolith claim they're gonna go after people with crypto. They're gonna try to rob. They're gonna try to rob us. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen. First and foremost, if you try to rob us, it won't be a short position that ends up getting liquidated. You know what I'm saying? Right? It might be a couple jugular vein liquidations, right? First and foremost. Second of all, why would you go after us? Why would you rob somebody for some shit that you don't like? You don't like Bitcoin. I can understand if you like change. You're fascinated by shiny things. I understand, right? You're the type of person that'll fly into a zap light, right? Like a mosquito, or rob somebody for a chain, right? But you don't like crypto. So what you gonna do with it when you rob somebody for it? I'm gonna just take it. You don't even know how to get it off the wallet. They not robbing because they want the crypto. They robbing because they look at you and see themselves and can't stand themselves. That's why. We see right through them. And this is why these people should be talked about like dogs and put on leash like dogs and stored in a cage like a dog. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Let me ask you guys this question. How many people would agree the best way to ensure your safety is to have complete control of other people? And if you disagree with that, my question is, how do you control the volatility? How do you control them being illogical? Shout out to Maine. Maine says, looks like it. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I would agree. There's many different ways that you can control people. You can control people psychologically. You can control people physically. You can control people financially. You can control people emotionally. When you're living in a hostile environment, the best way to survive the hostile environment is to control the controllable aspects of the environment and understand the uncontrollable aspects of the environment and control yourself, right? I would say a lot of that $1.2 trillion is uncontrolled. Who controls the flow of it? It's chaotic. It's going all over the place. There's no rhyme or reason for it. people who have the ability to exert control over that $1.2 trillion influence that $1.2 trillion to be siphoned into their control. And that's many different people. And the $1.2 trillion people, they have no idea that there's even a string attached to them. Shout out to Carlton. Exactly. Carlton said, similar to how the Democrats control the lift. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Katsy. Katsy says, only us defectives aren't controlled at this point. Facts. Facts. BlackRock has $12.5 trillion in assets under management. And they're looking to get more. The 1.2 trillionaires, I don't know if we can say they're looking for more or not. What do you guys think? Are the 1.2 trillionaires looking for more or are they not? To me, there's not a lot of evidence that shows that they are. There's not a lot of evidence that shows that they are. To me, if you ask me, the majority of these people are satisfied with insects crawling all over them. Sitting there with their pinky finger up to their knuckles in their nose. Which is fine. Which is fine. You know what I'm saying? But just understand, what people should understand is people should understand this. Dangerous people don't go around showing their hand. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to DJ Elmo. That's facts. DJ Elmo said BlackRock as holding stakes in most of the S&P 500 companies as well as foreign companies. Yeah, facts. We're gonna talk about a foreign company that BlackRock is involved with in a future video. Yeah, shout out to AB. They're doing it pinky finger style. They got their finger in their nose, Kevin Samuel style. You know what I'm saying? Pinky up. Let me ask you guys this question. How many of you all would agree that $1.2 trillion, that's a flush? That's just cash capital for other people to spend. Nothing of any meaningful definition will ever be constructed of it. That's just the reality. That's just what the evidence shows. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at BlackRock's spending patterns and you look at the spending pattern within that $1.2 trillion, it's obvious, if you ask me, why BlackRock has, 12.5 trillion in assets under management and why that 1.2 trillion has probably less than 1% of assets under management. But then these same people will be in YouTube comment sections asking questions. Well, why are we broke? You know how they said a long time ago, there's no such thing as a stupid question? That's not true. There is a such thing as a stupid question. And stupid people ask stupid questions. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, and that's the truth, Roof. And that's the truth, Roof. Yeah, that's the truth, man. We'll be here in 5 years, probably with 5 people in the chat. Look around and see how it's going. We'll wave to you from the yacht. Right? BlackRock's total revenue, most of which is earned as a percentage of assets under management, rose from 5.42 billion to base analyst expectations of 5.46. BlackRock's fixed income executives had expressed concerns last month that ballooning U.S. debt could suppress appetite for longer dated treasuries and the dollar, which recorded its worst first half performance this year since 1973. Now, and again, mind you, the Lith wants you to trade your Bitcoin for dollars. The Lith wants to make sure that you have dollars and not Bitcoin. So let me ask you guys this question. Would you all agree that the Lith is anti-wealth? If you would agree that the Lith, our peers, are anti-wealth, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree and you think that they're pro-wealth, give me a thumbs down and explain to me how. Safe havens, treasuries, and the greenbacks have also suffered as market price in tax cuts and spending hikes from Trump's recently passed Big Beautiful Bill, which nonpartisan analysts predict will add more than $3 trillion to the country's $36.2 trillion debt. Now, mind you, strange investments, right? Shout out to strange investments. Strange investments will hold your worthless dollars for you. The monolith is so Americanized and so brainwashed, they'll fight you over American dollars. American dollars are the only thing that they. Shout out to Maine. Maine said the Lith sounds like they hate wealth. That could be why some people say you go woke, you go broke. That could be why. Let me ask you guys this question. Does evidence support the statement, go woke, go broke? Here's my analysis of it. Analyze that $1.2 trillion and its distribution. And what does the data say? What's the data say? What happened with Carnival when they made all those changes? The stock price on Carnival increased. You know what I'm saying? The stock price on Carnival increased. Retail is messing things up again. Overall retail inflows for BlackRock fell to about $2 billion from $5.7 billion a year earlier, weighed down mainly by equity outflows as retail investors reduced contributions due to market volatility. Now, where did retail people take? Where did retail take the money? Now, let me ask you guys this question. It's a question. You guys gonna love this one. What business do we have that's competitive with BlackRock? Hey, and is it flex? Is it a flex? How many people out there flexing? You know what I'm saying? Is it a flex? Strange flex. The flexes just get more and more strange. The flexes just get more and more strange. Why are the flexes so strange, ladies and gentlemen? Shout out to Maine. Maine said some countries aren't competitive with BlackRock. A lot of countries aren't competitive with BlackRock. Here's my question. Why aren't they? There's more people that aren't competitive with BlackRock, right? Than there are people that are competitive with BlackRock. Why aren't they competitive with BlackRock? They don't spend their money in the same ways as BlackRock. Now, should the Lith be trying to compete with BlackRock? I don't think that would hurt the embarrassing wealth gap that exists, because let's just keep it a buck. Like, the wealth gap, that's just an utter embarrassment. Like, the wealth gap that exists is like walking around with a shit streak on the back of your pants. And everybody sees it, and it's funny, and they can smell it, and they're laughing at it and pointing at it, but they just don't want to tell you about it. But they'll politely do things to say, just kind of stay away from me because you smell and you look weird, and I don't want you sitting down fucking up my upholstery. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, how do people plan on dealing with the shit streak? You're going to change pants? You're going to wash the pants and start aiming for the toilet? What are people going to start doing? You know what I'm saying? I guess that's the that's the question. You know what I'm saying? That's the question. You know, I don't think most people see these kind of things as a problem. And I also believe that these kind of things are too tightly woven with the identity that people pride themselves on to even have a motivation to try to change any of this kind of stuff. If this stuff just self-regulated and everything normalized tomorrow, what would the majority of people talk about? The Diddy trial is over, so there's no more baby oil mysteries. You know what I'm saying? Shannon Sharp already paid the Instagram model. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm Jamal Warner, rest in peace, he passed away. But the death gossip only lasts until the next person dies. What value does anyone have? What contributory conversation does anyone have that's of any value? Dr. Rashad Ritchie got the next Karen that said something to somebody crazy in Walmart. You know what I'm saying? What is anybody going to do? Trump is getting rid of all the immigrants, which people say is the issue for their problems, right? That's immigrants are such a force that they've completely disrupted the ecosystem. Okay, well, Trump's getting rid of all of them. He's getting rid of the immigrants. What now? Yeah, shout out to AB. All Dr. Rashad Ritchie talks about is Karens. You can't find one video on how to build wealth on his channel. And remember, wealth is allegedly the issue. Wealth is allegedly the issue, but it's the least engaged content. It doesn't make any sense. BlackRock-led group set to invest $10 billion in Aramco Jafara infrastructure deal. All right, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is in Saudi Arabia. Deal is backed by infrastructure, including pipelines, gas processing plant, source said. First deal of this kind by Aramco was agreed in 2021. Jafura is potentially biggest shale gas projects outside of the United States. Saudi Aramco is close to a deal to raise around $10 billion from a group led by BlackRock that has been set up to invest in the infrastructure of Aramco's Jafar gas project. Two people with knowledge of the matter told Reuters. I mean, like, BlackRock is just all over the world making all type of moves. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said the new thing the Lyft is doing is reacting to TikTok videos about what someone said about who. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you guys this question. How much money do you think they're going to generate from that content? if people present like there's nothing going on, should people be catered to when something is going on? That's my question. The agreement would be the latest in a series of financial arrangements akin to borrowing that allow Gulf oil producing countries to raise money to diversify their economies while promising investors a stable revenue stream. The two people said the latest transaction was expected to be similarly structured to two Aramco infrastructure deals in 2021, including one in which BlackRock invested in Aramco's gas pipeline networks, allowing the Saudi company to generate funds. Aramco kept control of the underlying infrastructure, while the investors earned tariffs from the oil firm for the use of the pipelines. Both sources spoke on condition of anonymity because the talks are private. They did not say when the deal might be finalized. Aramco and BlackRock declined to comment. Okay. So BlackRock is out here making moves. This is the kind of thing that BlackRock invests in. If it came to this type of thing, the Lith will either say that you're a scammer, or they'll say we can't invest in this because dinosaurs don't exist. Dinosaurs are against our religion. Dinosaurs are the mark of the beast. You have the two sticks rubbing together issue. You know what I'm saying? You always run into a two sticks rubbing together issue. I want to ask you guys this question. How many people believe that some people have a genetic disposition to be anti-technology? If you think that this is true, give me a thumbs up. If you think that this is not true, give me a thumbs down. I think that is true. I think that is true. I think that is very true. So yeah, man, that's all I got. Shout out to you guys, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah, shout out to AB. AB said it's their kryptonite. Facts. If you're not subscribed to all my channels, do me a favor, take a moment, subscribe to all the channels. I'm going to try to go live again tomorrow. I might drop a video or two about the crypto. Depends on if I got time or not. Shout out to Katsy for standing on business for 28 months. Make sure y'all show Katsy some love. Shout out to my man, John Guillory. Definitely appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Definitely appreciate you. And I wouldn't disagree with Carlton. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton says they're not anti-technology, they're anti-productivity. Facts. And we will definitely be talking about that on the next Crimecast. We will definitely be talking about that on the next Crimecast. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
yeah, hey, okay, I'm fresh up out the package. Time I did, I pay my dues. Affiliated to this paper, I need freedom for my family line. Draw my life design up like fine art. I'm jumping out just an unfamiliar coordinates. Hopped off the porch like I could touch the sky. Red, it's not one trillip. The ism talk the water out your faucet. Look at me flossing, I'm so wavy, I could change the tide. My intuition says the hatred in your ways. You imitated, forging lines, claim meaning means that's just to justify. Yeah, right. West side, born maritime. Creole baby, my bloodline. My lungs clouded, my thoughts crowded. Say all I see is these dollar signs. Finna make a play and that sound delay. On mamas, I testify. Run for it, run for it, run. I might take paper chase. Looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I might take paper chase. Looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I might take paper chase. Looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I might take paper chase. Looking for the funds. Game recognized game. name, I'm from the Bay, okay, I'm versatile and my slang was different. I'm lane switching with the same people that I came up in this thing with. My head swivel, I'm homebound, got a target back on my backside. The cat peeling with the cast iron, better run for it, run before I catch you. Pick it out, ball it, block it, trying to stop my blessing. Gamble with your life, don't bet it, don't bet it. They can't stop my blessing, you do best not to test it. Yeah, you right, real all in my blood supply. Dig it ball up top, finna make a play. I cast a lob like I'm Jalen, baby. No co-signer, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission, it's a dollar sign. I said it twice and I meant it right.
My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission, it's a dollar sign. You know, co-signer, no co-pilot. They peptides, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission, it's a dollar sign.
Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds.